Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this channel. It's been a minute, huh? Depending on when I have this video out, I would like to wish y'all either a Merry Early Christmas or a Merry Late Christmas. Now, I've been spending a lot of time recently on Reddit. I don't use Reddit for politics or religion, so no, believe me, I'm not, one of those political Redditors, but I do spend a lot of time on like collection Reddits or music-related Reddits, and some of the best subreddits out there are the vinyl and cassette-related subreddits. The vinyl collecting community is especially interesting. Now, I myself am not a big vinyl collector anymore. I used to be around a decade ago. I have spoken a little bit on this channel about my record collection. I made a couple of videos. Nowadays, vinyl has gotten really, really expensive, and on top of that, I just haven't had a good turntable in a while. So these days, my mentality towards collecting vinyl is, if I'm digging through the racks at a new record store, I find something that is interesting, catches my eye, and I get a good price on it, like a really good deal on it, I'll pick it up. But for the most part, I'm just not hunting, for new vinyl records anymore. But that doesn't mean that I don't like to talk about collecting and things related to vinyl. And so today we're going to be looking at one of my favorite subreddits that I've come across recently, r/VinylGore. I found out about this subreddit through the wonderful people at r/VinylJerk. If you don't know what that subreddit is, it's a subreddit that's basically dedicated to making fun of all the normies on the main vinyl subreddit r/vinyl. Just delightful folks, lots of funny laughs to be had over there. But depending on whatever you think about the r/VinylJerk people, I am very thankful for finding out about r/VinylGore through them. We're gonna see some filthy stuff on this subreddit. Get ready to cringe. Let's jump into this. r/VinylGore. Gonna start off with the top posts of all time. Ex-military bull. This record would have easily been worth several hundreds of dollars. Of course, this is Ex-Military by Death Grips. I'm not a big Death Grips fan, but I'm, familiar with their stuff. Obviously, if you spend a lot of time on the internet, you hear a lot about Death Grips. They're a very just popular niche band on the internet. Ex-Military in particular is a very well-known album of theirs. Someone went to the liberty of turning their copy of Ex-Military into a bowl. This is going to be a common theme on this subreddit, people turning perfectly good vinyl records into bowls or other sorts of weird art projects. My opinion on this is a bit nuanced. I think that, for example, if you're just browsing around through your grandma's garage and you find some old dusty 45 that probably hasn't been played in decades, caked in dust, scratched to hell and back, obviously unplayable. If you want to turn that into something like a bowl or a neat little art project, I think that's fine, because clearly it's never going to get played again. But in this case, I can see the frustration. I can totally understand it, because not only does this look like it was probably a perfectly playable record, as a matter of fact, since Ex-Military is a fairly recent album in the grand scheme of things, obviously not new, but it's a new vinyl record. This might have been bought in mint condition, obviously worth several $100. It's a very sought after album, a very popular album, and yet this person turned it into a little weird looking art project when clearly lots of people out there would have been willing to fork over a lot of money for this album. Definitely deserving of being one of the top posts. Can someone help me clean this up? That is just horrifying. To keep a long story short, don't keep your vinyl records in this type of condition. It's actually really funny, because if you are a hardcore collector and you are always looking for new record stores to go to, you've definitely been to stores that actually kind of look like this, where they're just dusty. They look more like an underground flea market or someone's garage rather than an actual store. I've been to some stores where you've got records piled on top of each other, just slanted and falling all over the place, and you're just like, man, has anyone ever maintained this place? So I think any collector is pretty familiar with stuff that looks like this. The doggy hair makes the sound crisp, I heard. Oh my gosh. That is horrifying. The funny thing is, I've actually seen something similar to this. I had an ex-girlfriend, actually. She was actually roommates with her cousin. Her cousin had a turntable. It's a pretty nice turntable, and her cousin owned a couple of dogs and a cat. And for some reason, on the turntable, she had a copy of one of Lionel Richie's 80s albums. I can't remember what the title of that album was. I'll just have the picture of it on screen. It's one of his famous albums, but she just never removed that album from the turntable for months, and it was caked in dust and hair and all sorts of stuff, and I'm just like, are you ever gonna move that off the turntable? And so it didn't look exactly like that, but when I see all this dog hair on there, that's what it reminds me of. What a dick move, can't even pull it out. Yeah, that happens a lot, actually. I personally almost never order vinyl through the mail. I hate it. It's just, vinyl is so fragile. It's so easy to break. You know that the UPS and FedEx guys are tossing packages all over the place in the trucks and the trailers. In my opinion, you should not bother ordering vinyl through the mail most of the time. If you want to order CDs or cassettes through the mail, I do that all the time. Those are not as fragile in terms of how they are packaged, but with vinyl, with the fact that it's thin, you could easily bend them, snap them, do all sorts of crazy stuff. I've definitely had some vinyl records arrive in the mail where clearly they were banged up a little bit. My recommendation, do not order vinyl records through the mail if you can avoid it. Always get them in person, in store, and you can avoid situations like what we see here. Thanks, UPS, you're the best. Got this steaming pile yesterday. Oh my gosh, see, that's just brutal. You're just asking for stuff like this to happen. Obviously, a good mail carrier will take care of your stuff and it should be marked fragile. Imagine spending like 30 or 40 bucks, however much new vinyl presses cost these days, excitedly waiting for it in the mail, and you open it up and you just get this, just a cracked in half hunk of junk, unplayable, useless, just horrible. It's just awful. I feel so bad for this person. Tight, yeah, tight indeed. That clearly was a tight fit for the mailman. Don't order vinyl through the mail if you can avoid it. Awful. I just hope all these people got a refund, because this is just, there's no excuse for this. It's horrible. All right, let's switch over to some more recent posts now. There's been some good stuff. Found these in the wild today. What on earth are these things? I just looked through the comments. Apparently these are vinyl records that have been melted and molded to fit around like vases or Coke bottles. Hold on a second. Let's zoom in and look really, really quickly at what this is. Peter Gabriel, April Wine, Van Halen 2. They did this to a copy of Van Halen 2. Oh, that is just a crime. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Women and Children First, another Van Halen record, and then Tchaikovsky's Nutcracker Suite. Well, I mean, that was probably headed for a $1 bin somewhere anyways, but the fact that they did this to 2 Van Halen records, that's just disgusting, man. With stuff like Van Halen, it's like, yeah, sure, maybe it's scratched up and unplayable, but at least keep it for, the nostalgia or, the fact that it's still worth something. It's still a physical copy of a classic album, but instead they're just gonna melt it down. Ugh, gross. That's what I get for curiously searching vinyl record crafts. So I guess this person wanted to make a butterfly or something like that. This says hearts and sharts. I'm assuming that that's not the name of this person's vinyl craft business. That'd be unfortunate. Again, with stuff like this, I guess if it's unplayable, it's an old record, scratched up, banged up, might as well do something creative with it, but that's really ugly. I can't imagine someone looking at this and saying, yeah, I'd hang that on my wall. It's ugly. It's wretched. Looking through my grandparents' records. Oh my gosh. Oh, that is just... Poor grandparents. Poor grandparents. If you guys don't understand what's wrong with this video, don't put your records on the carpet. That's all I'm going to say. Just don't ask questions. Don't take your records out of the sleeves and put them on the carpet. Just don't do it. Don't do it. I am so beyond stoked I have to share it with the Reddit world. I guess this is the Tron Legacy Vinyl Edition motion picture soundtrack. And this dude was so excited to show off his brand new record to the world that he took out the records, just placed them right in the carpet. What was I saying? Again, don't put your records on the carpet. Just don't do it. You're saving yourself some trouble. Don't do it. Small town Walmart. Yeah, this is something that I actually have seen more and more often now that Target and Walmart are getting back into the vinyl game. Vinyl records have really made a comeback. Now you see all these disgusting, messy vinyl displays in these big box retail stores, and these people clearly don't understand how to stock vinyl, or maybe it's not the people who stock the stores, it's just customers flipping through stuff and just leaving it willy-nilly all over the place. A Christmas gift someone gave my father, how it was gifted. Well, at least it was a gift and you didn't have to pay anything for it. I hope the person who gifted it to you did not pay a lot for it. If you don't know what's going on here, to keep things short, don't stack your unprotected vinyl records on top of each other. You're going to save yourself a headache. Just don't do it. Don't do it. All right, so here we've got a copy of Foo Fighters' Greatest Hits on vinyl, and this is something that I've been seeing a lot of lately on the vinyl subreddits. For whatever reason, the inner labels on all of these brand new vinyl records that have come out like this year, last year, somehow the printing is getting messed up. I don't know what is going on with the quality control at these vinyl pressing plants. They got to get their acts together, because I mean, frankly, it's hilarious. I mean, I'm not the one who's ordering this stuff, so it's funny for me. I'm not the one who's suffering here, but like, there's no excuse for this. How does this happen? It's just embarrassing. Saw this amazing display at Target today. Like I said, Target, Walmart with these new vinyl displays, not knowing what the heck they're doing. Again, if you don't know what's going on here, don't stack your vinyl records horizontally and in stacks on top of each other. Don't do it. If you've got a stack of like 3 or 4 records on top of each other, that's obviously not a problem. But with big stacks like this, obviously the big records are going to pile up, squash the ones on the bottom. They need to be stored vertically like a bookshelf. That's how you store vinyl records. Yeah, I'd be crying too if I spent 35 bucks for overpriced new vinyl and this is what arrived in the mail. Look at this. Again, quality control with the center label. Somehow you got the one in the middle which printed just fine, but a second one got printed onto the outer grooves, making it unplayable. How does this happen? Again, who is running quality control at these vinyl pressing plants? This is embarrassing. This one is captioned, "I'm just gonna hang this here." I will say, this is creative. I have never seen anything like this, literally displaying vinyl records on hangers. I wouldn't do it myself, but you know what? It might not be that damaging to the record. Certainly better than what we saw in those Target and Walmart stores, right? Spotted at the local grocery store. I'm in physical pain. Why? This doesn't even look good. If you're gonna hang up records on the wall and make like a display out of it, like an art piece, at least make it look good. Those are just hung up willy-nilly. That's just so ugly. Like, not only are you damaging these records, but it doesn't even look good. That's horrible. Awful. 5 years prison sentence, easy. Nice quality control. Here we've got a Flaming Lips record and one unsatisfied customer. Again, how does this happen? How does this happen? And how does it get approved to, you know, get shipped to the customer? Just really interesting stuff because, again, I just have not seen anything like this before recently with all these new albums coming out. It's wild. Here we've got a repost of a post from r/VinylJerk. Is this an okay way to store my vinyls? Let me tell you, I have few pet peeves that annoy me more than people calling vinyl records vinyls. The plural of a vinyl record is vinyl, okay? Not vinyls. That's not a thing. So obviously knowing the people at VinylGore, this was posted sarcastically, but again, no, this is not an okay way to store your vinyls. Don't stack them unprotected on top of each other. Funny to look at though. Good memes, guys. Reposted from VinylJerk, water damage, and wow, yeah, look at this. You'd think, oh wow, you might see like the tops of these in a bargain bin and think, oh my gosh, an original copy of Let It Be by the Beatles for $8. Well, look at the bottom. Let's be real, some collectors might still pay a decent sum of money for that, but yeah, that's a lot of damage. And last post here, I'm sure there's a Crosley on the other side of these blinds to go with all of these soon-to-be melted records from Target. Look at that just generic list. It's Queen Greatest Hits, Journey Greatest Hits, and some Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers record. Vinyl Collector 101, like the first thing you learn, do not store your records near a window, in sunlight. Don't do it. This person, probably a novice collector, and you know, I just feel bad for them because they basically unintentionally ruined their records. We're gonna leave it there for today. What are some lessons that we can take away from this quick browse through r/VinylGore? Well, don't store your records on top of each other. Don't order new vinyl because it's a scam. It's overpriced. These people clearly don't understand what quality control is. And just on top of that, don't order vinyl through the mail if you can avoid it. Just don't do it. Way better to support your local stores, get stuff in person. Sure, it might be harder to find some stuff that you like, especially if there aren't a lot of stores in your area, but I mean, you might be saving yourself the hassle of spending 35 bucks plus shipping on some, you know, brand new vinyl record and finding it at your doorstep 5 days later, completely broken in half. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, much more casual than my usual commentary videos, but I just wanted to make sure to put out another video for you guys before the year is over. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you've not already, and I will see you guys soon. Got more videos on the way. Thank you guys for watching.